don't tell your story to convince people. You don't do it by pushing your message, raising your voice, or seeking confrontation. You're telling it to inspire others, to start a dialogue, to collaborate and jointly lead the way. Your way forward is here. This is Rethink's Night Out.
Nobody likes making mistakes, yet it turns out we've actually made quite a lot of them when it comes to developing products that actually lower our impact. What if we had a solution that would prevent that? The following is my own journey of discovery to exactly this, and it actually begins in my childhood. To set the scene, the year is 1995 and the film Waterworld has just launched. For those of you who haven't seen it, it depicts a dystopian future filled with lawless bandits. Kevin Costner lives aboard a trimaran, and he sails around a planet with no dry land. I was transfixed as a child. Now, the main character in these stories normally has a choice to make. Do the morally correct thing and work together to rebuild a just Earth, or ignore moral convention and dissolve into the horrors of self-preservation. It sounds like an expected narrative with a film, but it also sounds strangely familiar. We are fast approaching our own planetary boundaries. We are perilously close to ecological tipping points that, if crossed, will result in widespread environmental and economic breakdown. So what do? Use the facts and act now to protect our future, or plainly ignore what's happening in front of us? I chose the former, and it's entirely shaped the last 6 years of my career. Back in 2017, I was working for a UK boat builder, and we were grappling with what was required to build truly sustainable boats. We wanted to gain a jump on our competition, but we did all genuinely want to lower our impact. So off we set to build the future. Now, electrification seemed like the logical choice. Our customers were often driving electric cars, so the jumps to electric boats was an obvious one, and they offered lots of benefits. There was zero tailpipe emissions, there was reduced noise, there was potentially reduced vibration. It seemed to make sense on paper. However, as we progressed on this journey, we came across some quite alarming facts. To produce these battery systems required finite rare earth materials. To access those materials required extraction from natural landscapes. The changes to those landscapes in the pursuit of raw materials to propel our green future. Were we just moving the burden? And around this time, the car industry began publishing data to support their own green transition, and they were using this tool called life cycle assessment. It was a holistic view of a product's impact from raw material extraction all the way to the end of life. And yes, the data did show in the production of an electric car, it produced lots of carbon emissions. But the data also showed the break-even point. How far do I need to drive this vehicle to actually reduce my impact on the world? And the example here was between 49,000 and 110,000 kilometres. Now, given a car lasts for 250,000 kilometres across its whole life, it was a net benefit. The numbers did stack up. It made sense, so you made the right choice. But, the big but here, the impact reduction concept hinged on how much you use the vehicle. Now, we all know that boats spend a lot of time here in a marina. The engine data we had at the time told us the engine would run for 25 to 50 hours per year. So was it the right solution for us? Of course, I wanted to apply this methodology and thinking on our own products, run the numbers, check that we are on the right track. As I tried to access these lifecycle tools, I came across numerous barriers. They were really expensive. They were really complex to use. They were very, very time-consuming. The truth was out there, I just couldn't actually access it. Fast forward to late 2020, and the world was emerging from COVID. Everyone felt this unsettling sense that it marked a significant turning point for humanity. It was a genuine opportunity for us to rebuild better, challenge the status quo, learn from our mistakes. And I found myself floating in this liminal space. I honestly had grown increasingly disillusioned with an industry that wasn't really addressing the climate crisis. And that was combined with the fact that this myriad of solutions that existed in the marketplace, no one could ever give me the data to prove that it lowered my impact. By a stroke of pure luck, in 2021, I was introduced to a man named Craig Simmons. Now, Craig is a true green pioneer. Back in 1997, before any of us were seriously talking about climate change or sustainability, Craig had built an entire business focused on helping organisations measure and reduce their impact. And when I met Craig, he was several years deep on a new project called Marine Shift 360, a life cycle tool designed specifically for the marine industry. And the best bit, it removed all of the barriers that we had associated with those other tools because, guess what? It was simple to use, it was fairly cost effective, and it produced actionable results that I could use to lower my impact today. And at the heart of Marine Shift actually lies one very simple idea. You can understand the impact of your choices before ever making them. By modelling your existing design and comparing it to your new solution, you get a quantified value of impact that ensures that, yes, we are on the right track, or no, we've gone in the wrong direction. Given that 80% of carbon emissions are decided during the design phase of a product, it's now imperative that we all understand the impact of our choices and check that we're not just moving that environmental burden from one place and hiding it over here. Now, I'll be honest with you. The journey towards a truly sustainable world is complex. The life cycle data now acts as your navigational aid. It's no longer socially acceptable for us to launch products onto the market that don't actually lower our impact. The simple fact is, there's no planet B. So what does this mean for all of the designers, naval architects, engineers, boat builders who are sat in the audience tonight? Well, the future of this industry actually lies in your hands. And our success is entirely dependent on you understanding the impact of your choices today. My closing remark, stand up and be counted, because we have the data, we've now got the tools. We actually have a lot of the required solutions. What we need from the industry is for everyone to build verified impact reduction into everything you do, because the one thing we don't have is the time to make any more mistakes. Thank you.